being adjuncts, the instability of our teaching ranks. English programs also have the sort of stigma that anyone could teach writing because we all are native speakers or we're very proficient foreign language speakers, if English is our foreign language. So if you can write English, then you can teach it. That is a huge misconception, and we've read about the reasons why literature and composition are both in the English department. There are historical reasons why. So it's assumed that, it was assumed and it's still assumed in large part, if you read beautiful writing and you are yourself a good writer, and I can say that literature graduate students are usually better writers than graduate students outside the humanities for sure. Then, if you read beautiful writing and you are able to write beautifully, then you can teach other people how to write beautifully as well. That is not true. Teaching, especially teaching freshmen, is like, I think the soft skills, like patience especially, and attention to detail, willingness to give feedback, these are more important than how much literature you know. So if I was in charge of a department or a writing center, because graduate students in English often staff writing centers too, as they do in our department, I would love to take graduate students who are very committed to teaching in a variety of fields, probably humanities, but you know, journalism, maybe the sciences, I don't know. But train them and like kind of screen them for soft skills and recommendations, what they say about teaching, and give them like a semester-long class in composition pedagogy, like y'all have had, and so then you have, or more practical class, then you have the language to talk about language, which is what you really need to teach composition, ways of talking about language. And rhetorical theory really helps in my mind, but it's not a requirement. So the composition adjuncts, as opposed to say like adjuncts in the math department or the science department, also have the stigma that, oh, your job is easy, anyone can teach writing. Anyone can like write. Anyone cannot be in a classroom and be a good teacher of writing just because they can speak English or even because they are a good writer themselves. This stuff makes me so mad. Okay, so proposed solutions for the problem of the supply and demand problem and the problem with funding and status and all that stuff wrapped up with the adjunct and the labor questions. There are many proposed solutions. Oh, and I meant to say, for research on the topic, Google new faculty majority, and I think their website is newfacultymajority.info. It's a new-ish organization, like a lobbying organization. They do a lot of different things that is for adjuncts because they are literally the new faculty majority in the country. They have a section called Research and Reports that has links to all kinds of like academic or more popular articles about the status of adjunct labor. So check that out. It's really interesting. If you are an adjunct, you could join, or you could find, you know, even more tangible resources for your situation. So they are really about unionizing and which varies from state to state, like what unions can do, but just like advocating on all different levels for equity for non-tenure track faculty and or part-time faculty, really. Another thing that goes on at institutional levels, and is, I think, a growing trend, maybe a trend in the, hopefully a growing trend, is to advocate for more job security for adjuncts. Of course, more full-time lines, but having like a kind of the assumption that you can come back unless something bad happens, or like a 1-year contract and then a 3-year contract and then a 5-year contract, or sort of like promotion possibilities, so that you could start off as a lecturer and then you're senior lecturer and then you're like professor of teaching or some kind of title that's not just a title but it comes with added benefits. That's actually something we're discussing at UT Tyler because Dr. Ross, who's the Faculty Senate president this year, has really gotten a contingent faculty group together. Contingent is another term. Not tenure track faculty. They are starting to have meetings, and maybe we'll get more organized and bring to light the plight of the contingent faculty member at UT Tyler. So having longer contracts and more benefits and like a, what is it called? Like a line of promotion is something that could help in some tangible ways. Another resource about costs and adjunct labor and all other kinds of things is this book that I really like called Unmaking the Public University by Christopher Newfield. He is a leftist, so his solutions are about increased public funding or restored public funding for universities and unionization, but mostly restoring public funding to universities, because that's one of the reasons for the increase of costs and why administrators say they have to cut costs in other places because they don't have as much money in the budget. So that's why there's been this acceleration to adjunct labor. But one of the reports I was reading on new faculty majority, the increase in number of staff positions to support students, like especially like mental health or technology, to support students and faculty members, but also like infrastructure costs like new dorms and fancy new gyms, fancy new classroom buildings. These contribute to it. The ballooning of administrators and administrative salaries also contributes. People have lots of different theories, but so lobbying state governments, and that means like taxpayers, to contact their legislators that we need to reinvest in public education, because the overall trend has been when there are since the 70s, when there are budget shortfalls at the state level, they temporarily decrease funding for public education, K through 12 and college, and then they don't really get around to restoring it. So like every cut that's supposed to be temporary turns out to be permanent, and so it's just gone down, 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 down. So lobbying state governments and taxpayers to restore the public funding is one solution. Another solution is opting out of the system, to not be part of the available supply of cheap labor for teaching positions, to try to kind of decrease the supply so that the departments don't have the option of just paying $2,500 for a course. If the resource is more scarce, then you have to pay more for the course. So some people see the way that they can contribute to this problem being, I could be an adjunct, but I'm not going to be, because that just feeds into this unethical, exploitative system. If you opt out, then you opt into something else, obviously, and I will include a link to some web pages that I wrote when I was at UT Austin. I took a summer job as a researcher and writer in the College of Liberal Arts Career Services office, and they had always only served undergraduate students, but they could see that there was a growing need to be able to provide career advice, like non-academic career advice, for master's and PhD students in the College of Liberal Arts. Liberal arts. I always have a hard time saying that, ironically. So I did some research about like what it means to work at a museum or in business, whatever business means, because a lot of us don't know what that means. Anyway, I'll include that link, so some of that information may be relevant to you. Maybe it'll help. I'm available to talk, as I said before, about your own career aspirations and your thoughts about anything that I know about. So I'll be sure to let you know if I don't feel qualified to talk about something, but there are things that I do feel qualified to talk about. So I'm always happy to talk to you about this class, or when the class is over. I mean, let's keep in touch. I've really, really enjoyed this semester. Carol DeGrasse had a really good discussion board post about how much she learned from all of you, and I just want to stress that as well, that I've learned so much from you, you as teachers, you as non-teachers, your responses to the reading. I'm actually rethinking how to organize the readings and even like take out some readings and substitute others, because I've understood that so many of you are high school teachers and will remain high school teachers, which thank you for doing that, for being good high school teachers and staying in the classroom and doing what you do, because your job, you seem like superheroes to me. I think I want to research more, especially in the sentence level discussions we were talking about with, having to do with grammatical correctness. I need to educate myself more on the research about teaching grammar 2 at the junior high and high school level, because I should know more about that, and I should be able to talk to you guys or future y'alls about teaching grammar at that level. And also that so many of you, almost all, come from a literature background, and composition is this new field that you didn't know is a field. So I need to reframe the course a little bit for people who are coming in feeling totally out of their element in a composition class. So thank you for bearing with me as I have not met you on those levels as well as I probably could have. Also, me getting behind as a teacher, not being ahead of everything or responding in ways that I probably should have. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for letting me learn from you, and thank you for being great, inspiring students. I'm looking forward to reading your bibliographic essays, and I'm just going to give it a grade just to let you know. And if you want comments on it or you want to talk more about it in the future, I would be more than happy to do that over the summer or in the fall or next spring. So good luck to all of you in revising that, and I hope to hear from you later. Bye-bye.